Let's gather our party. Who do we need to get? I guess we need to get Michael, Rory, maybe, Chandra, and Claudio.
Sounds like a party.
What do you think they're doing today? Oh, hey, Matt, you want to save the... Oh.
He's done. His side quest is complete. There's literally nothing more that can be derived from him.
He has no value to us now. Even though I did fund the second issue. She wasn't actually working all sorts of odd hours for a while there. That was actually part of the issue.
Well, at the same time, though, I feel as though since she's now started to get into the grift, I'm assuming that after telling Alex that he needed to get a job and realizing that that was just kind of failing utterly, she instead decided to, well, take matters into her own hands, as it were.
Yo, where have you been?
I still maintain that we could have had a really interesting social link if Alex became a DJ at the radio station.
I spent the next half hour telling the tale of me, the Essentia 2000.
Oh, now they decide to abridge something that he says?
Well, we've already heard it once. We experienced it, but I can't tell you anything about what happened there.
I guess we got what we asked for.
Somehow? I don't think I know what that means.
Don't worry about it, Rory.
So yeah, Rory was also pretty cavalier about just saying, "Hey Alex, I watched you disappear into a van 5 days ago. What's up?"
Just kidding, that's never cool.
And to make a suicide joke.
Yeah, I gotta say, of all the people to be making jokes about suicide, is Rory really the one they had to give that one to?
When's it coming for us?
Apparently it was. So here we are.
Like, fucking really, game?
All that Y2K panic? What if people can sense the end is coming? I know that sounds dumb, but I can't help but feel like that's when it's gonna happen. So what do you say? Are you in?
Eh, sure, why not?
What's the alternative? Run away to the soul space? I could never convince my mom or dad to even try astral projection. And I would never leave everyone else.
I thought your dad was just non-existent.
Of course I'm in.
Well...
And your mom is a sight gag, so...
His mom is literally a pair of legs. One thing that bothered me about that discussion, obviously Rory is very gung-ho about helping us save the world, which is great. But did they ever... Where did he get the astral projection bit? Like, that's such a weirdly specific thing to call it, right?
Yeah.
Have any of the Black Magi type characters in this game used the term astral projection to refer to it?
Well, you came to me and asked me for
No,
a favor.
the only thing I can conceive of is that they referred to it as traveling or something.
What's the deal? I'm guessing it's something serious.
The world's going to end. I saw it in my mind dungeon.
So Claudio's pretty casual about this whole thing too.
Claudio's really casual about everything. That's part of why his character's not horrible, except for the anime thing.
No chill.
Which by itself is not bad. It's just, really, that's the hobby you're gonna give him?
Be ready to fight this thing when it comes for us. You down?
Are you serious?
Very.
It at least means that he's wearing a better shirt than
I
Alex
believe
is.
you, man.
He's wearing a shirt the way Alex is. I don't know if I call it better.
You brought a sense of adventure back in my life.
Agree to disagree.
I thought I'd vanish with my little brother.
Really? I didn't
Ostensibly, what's bringing him along here, I'm just going to focus on this for a minute. He's talking about the fact that Alex is now suddenly reminding him of his younger brother who disappeared.
Well, specifically, he's saying that all the passion just kind of went out of his life once his little brother died. This kind of strikes me as odd because Chandra was literally getting after us about how we were like a poisonous friend to Claudio because of that.
Just let me know when you're ready to start.
Do you think that's
training.
deliberate? Like the way that they both see that totally differently? Also, this is weird. Claudio, stop doing what you're doing.
No, it's fine, Claudio. Keep doing whatever you're doing. But no, what I'm getting at there is that, yeah, it speaks to, again, this very specific feeling of unearned importance to, oh, hey, so there's that thing I was telling you about.
Yeah, I did go and check after you reminded me of it. It is a thing you can equip, but it's not as good as the one-hit wonder, because the one-hit wonder gives us more strength.
There you go. So it's again I feel like the game, and it was explicit for a moment there, crediting Alex entirely too much for his influence on Claudio and his participation in this journey. Because, again, Claudio joined literally just on a total whim. And then...
Oh, I was hoping I'd see you.
Chandra, aren't you really, really
I had
cold?
the strangest dream last night.
No, she's been
I
hooping,
was
man.
looking for something for my brother. My brother was older. Probably in his 30s, except he had glasses and red hair. He kind of looked like you. Anyway,
So again, it's there isn't really
I
a
wanted
sense of
something of his to take
development
home.
of these
Something
characters'
that he handled
relationships to
every
Alex.
day,
It's
or
just
that had been close to his
now
body.
that we're in the end game, suddenly
But
there
it
needs to
couldn't
be a
anything
reason
important
for
that he would
which
miss.
they're
So,
willing to
I
go
stole one
along
of
with
his
this
pencils.
continued craziness now that they've found
You know
the
what's
Essentia,
weird?
and Alex is now spouting this
feel like I've
ridiculous
heard this
nonsense
story
about
before.
how the world's going to end very
is that?
soon. And they said,
don't
well,
know.
I guess we
Anyway,
might as well
I
believe
took
you.
the pencil and
I
started
think that it
drawing
just
all
sort of
over the
goes
walls
back
with it.
to what I
kept
was saying
writing the
last
same
episode,
word
and to
over
reiterate,
and
it was
over.
basically that they just give Alex
you
his
write?
credit for being like a positive force in these people's
It was
lives and
pantaloon
being a developed
over
character when
and
just
over
fucking
again.
nothing has happened with him.
Pantaloon,
He's the same dude.
Pantaloon, 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 pantaloons.
Chandra, stop that.
So, anyway, my brother comes into the room and he just looks at me like he caught me naked, or at least in my pantaloons. And he starts crying. Just sobbing. I start crying too. And then I woke up. Weird dream, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I know the world's going to end. I'm gonna do my best to help you.
You could have just come out and said that.
How'd you figure that out?
You'll figure it out. You're smart enough. You have all the clues you need.
Huh.
What? How can you just...
Maybe she has like ESP with Claudio or something. Or maybe it has something to do with that Bera character she was talking about.
Feeling
The
of
one
hope
who's like
grows. I
also
realized everyone
Vela
I
/
had to help
Essentia.
said yes.
Yeah.
Did I really deserve everyone's help? Nope, not at all. Maybe this is why I was exceedingly grateful. I thought about Michael. He was the only one I hadn't seen since I returned from my trip into the Essentia 2000's mind.
And I was so sure he would be in the camera shop.
Hadn't anyone else seen
I was
him?
thinking the arcade was probably a decent possibility, but
Alex,
I guess we might be
Come to
on the
the
verge
forest
of
meadow just
addressing
south of
one
Frankton.
other
there's something
mystery.
I want to talk to you about.
I'll be right there.
Let's go ahead and save before we go down there to talk to Michael. Come to think of it, I'd like to say that I went to the forest meadow at some very, very early stage of the campaign, like maybe in the first episode or two.
Sounds about right.
Because remember, I was doing a fair bit of exploring before this game made me not give a shit anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, as far as what I was referring to earlier, remember how I want to say about 15 episodes ago there was this very particular weird vignette about the fact that Alex didn't remember where Michael lived?
Yeah, no, I mentioned that last episode.
Yeah, alright, well,
Come on, try and keep up, Mode Wondershot. It'll be on the quiz later.
we're actually trying to see some resolution to things.
I'm trying really, really hard.
Hey, here's some money that probably doesn't mean anything at this point.
No, I've literally got $15,000 at this point. It does not matter to me. That was the one I got earlier.
Also, hey, Michael?
You ever seen Aladdin?
Yes?
Michael? Is that you? Where the hell have you been? I've been looking for you for the past week. I called your
I
house,
guess
knocked on your door,
I haven't
and
seen the
no one ever
remake.
answered.
None of that matters anymore. It's so trivial. Don't you see? No, of course you don't. I wouldn't have a week ago.
What happened? You sound different. Your voice is different. What's going on?
He's taking
Alex,
up yoga.
something has
Can't you
happened to
tell?
me.
Oh my god, he
I am
apparently has.
transformed.
I literally have
I've
no
come to
idea what this
understand
is all
certain
about.
things.
Is this like a reference to
I've been
something,
exposed
maybe?
to the truth.
What do you mean? What happened?
Something happened to me. Something very startling at first. But now it's just incredible.
I feel like
Are
it
you gonna
requires
tell
more
me what
definition
happened, or are
than
you just gonna keep
something,
acting like Vela?
Michael.
Alex, I've
I saw
become a
the soul
vegan.
space. I met a parallel self. I lived so many lives. I am everything.
What?
Alex, I entered the mind dungeon alone, and I wandered and wandered. Soon I stumbled upon a hall of names. Each of these names was etched into a door. Inside each of these doors was a life. My life. For 9 days straight, I experienced what it was like to be my parallel selves.
Now, did you do that for 9 days back to
experience
back,
parallel
or did
life
you
in
do
real
it like
time is
over
to
the course
become
of
an
9
oxymoron.
days?
To be something and not be something. Both at once.
I have
I am
so many
me.
questions right now.
But I am
I
also
mean-
her or him.
I
have my
don't want
memories,
there to be questions
also
because
don't
I
belong
know
to
they're
me.
not going to get answers.
The very act
Well,
of experiencing a
I mean,
parallel
the
life
first
is
thing that
mind
comes to
shattering.
mind is, aren't there rules against shit like that?
When we are born, we immediately
Like, isn't
begin
this idea
developing
that
a
if you
series of
leave
biases
behind
and
your body
defenses
in
that help
Universe
us
A,
ground
then it
our
leaves behind
lives
a
in the reality
soul
that we
survivor, right?
invent for ourselves.
So, did Michael just
In
leave
doing
a soul
so,
survivor running
We
around?
lose
It
sight
seems a
of the
little
temporary
dangerous, right?
nature of life.
Yeah, presumably.
We forget everything. We lose track of where we came from and only look to the future.
And he's apparently transcended and become
Experiencing a parallel
Proto-Michael.
life disassembles
Yeah, and
all
I suppose
physiological
all that can
constraints
infer
have
is
been
that
built up
Alex
over the
is
years.
perhaps a significantly
We
more
see
garbage
life for
person
what
than we
it is,
realized,
a
considering
three-sided box
he
that only allows us
has
to look
been spending
forward,
this entire
not
game
back into our
ostensibly
own minds where the
achieving a
true
similar
nature of
level of
reality
enlightenment,
exists.
and has
Do you know
And
what
he's
the
still in
funniest
his
part
first
is?
form.
What?
I know what you've come to ask me. And I know that I'll say yes, even though I always turn you down.
when
Do you
did
realize how many
he
times
turn
we've
us
had this
down, though?
conversation?
I
It's
think
like
the
clockwork.
implication is that I discovered that he would in
friend.
his trips
This
through
friend
his other
continuously
parallel
hurts another
lives.
friend of ours. And soon he realizes his flaws. He soon asks
A
me to
friend
try
who
and save
hurts
him from
another friend
self-destruction.
realizes his
Every
own
time
flaws.
I say no, and every time
He's speaking in
you
such
destroy our
generalities
reality.
that it's almost like it's like cold
Maybe it
reading,
took
you
for
know
me
what
to
I mean?
realize what not helping
Yeah.
a friend can do to that friend.
Like this could be describing literally
Let's go
anybody.
He's also been taking lessons from the Essentia 2000
How
IC.
reality ends?
No. All of my lives end with you destroying everything. But I'm never there to see firsthand how you do it.
Crap. I was really hoping you knew the answer.
Well, you apparently know the answer to everything
I'm
else.
surprised you're not alarmed by what I've told you. What have I missed while I'm away?
Your shirt, apparently.
I think you should meet our new android friend.
Alex, do you feel the air? Do you see the stars? Their positions have changed. Did you notice the colors? Everything is wrong. This isn't what it was like.
Well, if only they showed us the
Something is
skybox.
Yeah.
Something is broken. Can't you see it?
Michael, I don't know. Maybe things feel different, but dude, they've felt different for a long time.
Okay, so now
The very
we're
feeling
wandering
of being me has changed.
stumblingly back into the
I feel
metaphor
wrong,
of
but
this game as
Something is wrong. You're
As a
right.
metaphor for growing up, right?
Do you ever
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, we've
things
talked about
wrong?
that a little bit. Of course things have felt different, you know, that's
I don't.
that's
think
what
so.
growing up feels like.
What does that mean?
Never mind. I suppose not. Let's go back to your house.
it's just the fact that this is where we're dealing with something that is ostensibly meant to be interpreted as a literal
walk back
apocalypse
to my
that is
house.
now kind of
Strange
colliding
feeling
with
of
the
nostalgia
metaphorical
overwhelmed me.
apocalypse that these two characters have
It was
described
as if I
before.
hadn't seen Michael in a
That's
really
the
long
apocalypse
time.
being that we have to grow up and
As if
get
the Michael I'd
jobs.
spent the past year with had been
We
broken.
can't hang out and party all night because we got work in the morning.
And,
This
you know,
was
I'm
my
sure
dream.
you'll understand me when I say
The
that
cooling
there
winter
is
air.
something
I had
apocalyptic
a series
feeling
of
about
memories
that on
returned
some
to me.
level, but
All of
Oh,
them
sure,
felt
but
like-
it's not
But none
played
of them
for
felt real.
comedy.
yeah.
As if I'd experienced them in a far-off, distant life.
I don't know, I just think the implication is a little bit weird, right? Like, this idea that they're trying to create this coming-of-age story against the backdrop of the literal end of your life.
Yeah, and again, if it was approached, as you pointed out, with maybe a little bit more levity, it could kind of work.
And maybe a little bit more tact. If you had those two ingredients, this could be a good coming-of-age story stew.
But tomorrow's Thanksgiving!
Talking of stew.
Thanksgiving? Tomorrow?
Yeah, and so we should start on Friday!
What about shopping on Friday? Just kidding! Seriously, just kidding!
Many of my parallel lives were Canadian, so this is somewhat a surprise to me.
Ha.
Ha.
As I experienced Canadian
You know, that's
Mexican
a
few weeks
legitimate
ago.
observation.
All right. Fair enough. Friday we begin.
So, yeah, there's that levity we were talking about, just...
Promise.
It was in the wrong place.
Once again, we are struck by this game's inability to do anything correct.
I've lived the past 25 years knowing nothing but a series of tomorrows. In fact, I'll do that
Also,
tomorrow. It'd become a
The
mantra
past
for the next
25
2.5
years, I
decades.
thought he was 27.
Tomorrow.
I thought it was 27 this whole time, too.
Today. Maybe the
I don't
last
know,
day.
maybe I just pulled that out of thin air. If I
It's
did,
not
I
a triggered
apologize.
something for me to fall away.
No, I think
It was as if
we
the core
both
of my
did.
personality dropped away
And so,
came in to fill the hole.
he doesn't even
It was
know
like
how
being
old he
hungry
is.
all the time.
I don't
So
even know how
food,
old he is.
Mindless fun and things that normally bring happiness had lost their appeal.
That's called being
The
depressed.
knowledge that this was all
This
temporary
game
stripped
is...
me of the ability
This
to
game
experience
is
basic human
causing me
pleasures.
to accrue
You're depressed,
the
holy
opposite
shit.
of knowledge.
Sense of normal. The desire to go back. That's not right. I don't want to go back.
There's no world-ending
If I went back, I'd be
apocalypse
the
here.
same
You just
person
need to
I
see a
used to be.
therapist and take some
Selfish,
medication.
Unfocused, lazy. I had no purpose. I was a blank slate that was covered in war paint.
I don't get that metaphor.
I was going to defeat whatever was coming from my reality. Even if it was me. I would defeat myself. What that meant, I didn't know. But I was prepared to do whatever it took.
So it's really something that this game can continue to be this pretentious while we're also seeing how incompetent it is at even very basic things.
God, I know, but I fucking love the noir narration, even if I acknowledge like how bad it is.
This is the earliest.
Remind me at some point, one of us will have to do an effort post where we write the opening of this game in 1940s noir Maltese Falcon style.
Good.
I was sitting at my desk when she walked in, legs up to here.
Impressive. Well, get to work. Remember, you can choose to go to the mine dungeon
I
or visit
laugh
your friends in
because it
town.
hurts.
You can only do one or the other. You have about a month until the new year comes, and it's hard to do both in a day. Try and spend as much time in the mine dungeon as you can. If you don't train hard enough, you might not be strong enough by the time the end comes.
Got it. Today I'll...
So now we're in the Persona 3 ending, and we
Yes, this is the end game.
need to reach the end game.
No, we're pretty much there. This is it, man. This is what growing up is like.
Yes, it involves power leveling. Amazing.